I think there's a lot of possibilities, and I particularly think the mid game is a lot more entertaining than the other matchups. I think Zerg versus Terran, you tend to see Hellions a lot and kind of some spotting, and I don't know, it feels a little bit more slow and pushy, things like that. Protoss versus Terran, same sort of thing, but Zerg versus Protoss, it just feels like it's really, really entertaining. Bottom left-hand corner, we have rsvp starting as a blue Protoss. Upper right-hand corner, we have Catz as the yellow Zerg, and again, two-player map. Catz, wily player, but let's see if he can go up who again, my favorite to go the farthest amongst the Redditors, rsvp.
Yeah, again, enough credit cannot be given to rsvp. He is one of our Reddit heroes. He's a guy here who is a part of a separate community, a little bit outside the main populace, but it is obviously thriving and growing, so mad props to them. But this is their baby boy. Sai was the blonde-haired, pretty hero that everyone likes to hear talk, and coL rsvp is their Thor. He's the guy they bring down the justice on. So hopefully he's going to be able to represent, but he's got his hands full. Catz, kind of like we've been saying, is one of those guys where I don't care how damn good you are, he can do things that just seem illogical. They seem maybe bad, but then it ends up being, actually, he's practiced that 500 times, and he wins games with it. So buckle up, because you're in for a rough ride.
Yeah, Catz is like Idra's worst nightmare, the player that does really unpredictable things, but then they end up working, it gives him the victory, and then it's just, oh, why do you do that so bad? You lose in Korea. And actually, I think Catz would do pretty well initially, at least, until people figured out, oh, wait, you're kind of that wily player. Apparently, rsvp is known for codifying 15 next. Go figure. From a little bit of comment there from Feargorm himself. Yeah. Is that right, Derek? No, sorry, Xenome himself. Looks like he's actually is going, in fact, into a 15 Nexus on that. He's just put that pile on and actually doing a little bit of harassment by Catz. I like the prediction, not seeing a very early spawning pool, just throwing up a little bit of harassment, whatnot, and going for that Nexus. And more or less, with very late scout here from Catz. He's just now getting that drone, and as he's kind of scooting his way across, he's going to see the Nexus and be like, what? Wait, what? And we'll see how Catz decides to deal with it.
Yeah, I'm fairly unpracticed in the Nexus first, but I still I have a gut feeling that I still would have liked to have seen him block that hatchery first instead of dilly-dallying in the Zerg base when it's clearly set up to do a hatch first. I really do advocate that, and I'm harping on it a little bit, I know, bear with me, and I do that because I really think if you can, you should delay that expansion. But we'll see if maybe it's just so well-timed and so precisely done that, in fact, he wanted him to take that hatch first so that he could safely throw down his Nexus and do a gateway, then forge. And if that is the case, then I will just sit here and witness the poetry that is rsvp and stop criticizing.
In the meantime, rsvp with a slight economic lead. We'll see how long that lasts. Looks like Catz actually not producing a ton of Zerglings to try to counter this or go up with any additional aggression, just kind of getting his own harvester count up in the meantime. And rsvp in the meantime does have a pretty nice wall established, has Maynard his troops up, so going to sit on what I would say is a very solid economic lead, probably wants that sentry out sooner rather than later again to defend that front door. And Catz actually looks like canceling an extractor right there and getting an overlord a minute afterwards. So perhaps a little bit indecisive of how he wants to cope with this.
Yeah, I mean, he just did get scouted by a probe. So if you actually look, no, never mind. He sees that was canceled too. So I tried to credit him with an awesome move, but in fact, maybe he just did have a moment of indecisiveness, which is, at this stage, not that detrimental, but as the game progresses, little moments like that, you really got to be sure of what you're doing, because especially as a Zerg player, with the larva unit/drone mechanic, it can become devastating if you're not sure what you're doing.
So Catz, I'm almost wondering if he's going to go for an additional third expansion or if he's going to go for just a solid break here against rsvp, perhaps not familiar with rsvp, so perhaps caught very off guard, and I'll stop saying perhaps. Now it looks like speed upgrade just about halfway finished. And it looks like rsvp has tacked on some additional gas. This is a really nice, solid front door that I'm looking at thus far. Some nice cannon coverage, I would say, as well. Doesn't have a lot of attack units out, which could be somewhat detrimental, depending. But yeah, Catz just sticking. It looks like he's going to go. He's getting the roaches. He's getting the layer, getting additional gas. I think he's going to go for a break against this.
Yeah, I anticipate probably a pretty similar game plan to that game we saw with TT1. Just burrowed roaches into a fast third hatchery at that high yield. One of the things, though, that is going on is that rsvp is in a significantly better economic standing than TT1 was in that game. And It's going to come down to decision making, obviously, but one of the things I really like about his gameplay thus far is look how damn persistent he is with those harvesters. Those probes are around the map, checking the towers, finding expansions, kind of getting a feel for what the landscape is, and then he's able to make decisions reflecting that back at home. So we see all these gateways going down, as well as a Stargate, so it's probably indicative of like a Void Ray in the gateway unit type army. So those burrowed roaches are going to be kind of pivotal in terms of how they relate to that. But again, I just really like the scouting that's going on.
5 gateways currently up. You have 4 gas, so it could be very, very stalker heavy. You have Phoenix is also producing the Zerglings, somehow managing to get in that back line. So Catz being Catz and able to disrupt RSVP a little bit, just diving around that back corner. This is going to hurt RSVP a little bit because he's just now getting his first attack unit, which is a sentry back there. So Catz at least able to do a little bit of economic disruption.
Yeah, and he makes Zerglings look good, man. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, he does.
People are complaining that you can't micro Zerglings in StarCraft 2, and I was one of those guys. Looking at this, I'm like, well, Catz didn't get that memo because he is actually making them look like Brood War Zerglings, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, able just now getting taken care of. He does have layer up, has the Gilial Reconstitution. I have trouble saying that every single time. Getting some Roach Force now up, is opening up that gold expansion rock, but producing a lot of roaches in the meantime. 51 harvesters to 42 currently. A lot of beeping in the background from out of nowhere. I'm not sure where that came from.
Gilial Reconstitution? They had to change that.
Yeah, they do, because it's just hard to say as a caster, and I think they should actually make decisions in StarCraft 2 based around casters. And whatnot. Anyway, RSVP actually with these Phoenixes can do a lot of damage, particularly at hurting Katz's overlords out in the field. I think he saw those roaches out there, but Catz does not have a lot of anti-air currently.
Well, it squelches information pretty hardcore. I mean, overlords are obviously exposed here, but even Zerglings staked at towers. I mean, all these things are going to be shut down a little bit. Quick note, Catz is circling around with these roaches. They are going to get here just after Warp Gate, and they're going to be greeted by an equal number of stalkers at least. Catz is very chagrined right now. He's not happy to see that he's got an army as well as Phoenix. Oh, but the burrow. So sniping that photon cannon, he is actually able to burrow, heal up, and continue to do hits. Brilliant move by Catz, and this is exactly what I was talking about. As long as he continues to micro this and stays outside of detection, he should be able to kill this without any damage coming his way.
Oh, wow, bad burrow there for a moment because he was still inside that cannon detection range. Keep in mind, cannons actually detect further. Beautiful play by RSVP, actually blocking the roaches in, so they're going to get handled. So even though a nice play early by Catz, losing everything in the meantime.
Oh, I think he thought there's an observer. He was staying up there way too long. He should have burrowed way earlier.
Oh. In the meantime, RSVP should be able to get her oboe out, should be able to get some detection to cope with that, and I feel like RSVP in a fantastic position has done a lot of harassment. Has actually seen that gold expansion going up, and I feel like Catz, that's a little bit, considering the amount of roaches he's lost in his standing army comparatively, that's a little bit risky, I would say. Still one roach, it looks like, in that back corner, managing to escape barely. But yeah, RSVP looks fantastic, I've got to say.
Yeah, he's put himself in a great place off the backing of that very aggressive economic opening. I like the Phoenix follow-up. He did get a little bit sloppy and lost a couple to the Hydras, or at least just one, which, that thing happens. But those Phoenix they're very important. They're a huge commitment from his resources. So he is pushing out here. He does have a strong sentry back, with the Sentry and Zealots moving out in front. He is at 6 sentries with quite a bit of mana, if you were to look through those sentries. And then he's being joined up by a last warp-in of Stalker, so he's going to make a little bit of a push here. Catz, on the other hand, does have a lot of roaches and some Hydras to boot. Force fields are going up, but those Hydras are able to range out from behind it, and the roaches are hitting the melee units of the Protoss player. This is not looking good. Again, it's one of those engagements where it's like, okay, you're kind of doing some damage, but if you don't peel back right now, you're going to lose it.
Yeah, it looked like what he was trying to do briefly was just box out a lot of those units and hoping it could go against more roaches. Unfortunately, just plenty of units left over, so going to lose a lot of these troops. Nice retreat, though. He is dumping some sentries back, and he's got some more stalkers to join this, and he's walking back very carefully and microing this, I got to say, very well. He's going to get back to his protective home base, but was trying to pick that hatchery off. Didn't quite get there, though, and didn't get a lot of damage. So first, I would say loss there, significant loss from RSVP. He's going to be a little bit economically behind now, is getting that Immortal out in the field to open up that and play a little bit more defensively. And Catz, actually, with a sizable army, has position here. And this is going to put him in a good spot, particularly on Xel'Naga Caverns, because when you do not have map control, those Phoenixes are going to be even more critical, essentially, to just spot where that army is headed, what Catz is up to, and he's a hard guy to keep track of.
Well, Diggity, I can't say it enough. It's the sins of our fathers. TT1 and now RSVP making the same mistake, which is just engaging too early. And a lot of people are going to be like, in control, what the hell are you talking about? He's got a pretty decent-sized army. Well, you're absolutely right, but you do see the double robo, which is going to take up all his gas, and he's not having any sentries right now gathering mana, and he can't afford them. So what's going to end up happening is he has no way to stop those Zerglings from running in, disrupting the AI of his Colossus, but even more importantly, the Roaches and Hydras are going to have free reign to do all the damage they can before they are vaporized. So it's something to note right now and to see how that pans out later. I'm forever the coach. I can't get away from it, so you'll just have to bear with my advice.
Looks like a couple Zerglings diving in. That's a lot of cannons warping into the bottom right-hand corner. That is going to trigger an attack from Catz. He wants to stop that expansion before it has an opportunity to go up. The Phoenix is going to spot it. Looks like one of them getting taken out, but probably well worth their sacrifice. Let's see if these 8 cannons are going to have an opportunity to even warp in. Big engagement. Wow, Catz dedicating to this attack. Some nice sentry force fields in the back behind this, and the cannons warping in one at a time to support this army. That Immortal also just wailing a lot of these units, and Catz losing this engagement, perhaps losing more troops than he really needed to here, and continuing to try to engage this. It looks like he's going to take out a couple of, well, one more Phoenix, but yeah, maybe not engaging with that many cannons warping in. I'm surprised he decided to stick around, but RSVP does manage to get this additional base up. Still going to be economically behind overall because he's going up against a gold expansion comparatively, but still not going to be starved out through the long run.
Well, I mean, one of the ways to, I guess, make up for that difference is to go ahead and take that fast third like he did, and then better yet would be to have the Zerg to decide to make the point of confrontation a place where you've got 5 photon cannons. Not a good choice by Catz, and of course I'm sure he would agree with us almost immediately, if not 5 seconds before that attack, but it's no good, and he lost a lot of units there. He's not down and out, obviously, but it's just the lead has been shrunk.
Yeah, looks like we see another Catz responding by taking another expansion. Looks like RSVP is going to scout it. He's been so golden with the scouting. Just absolutely beautiful. The Phoenix just hovering above that hatchery. You're going to see it coming. It looks like a burrowed Zergling going to see this approach on the gold expansion. That is one thing I've got to say RSVP is lacking. He's lacking observers, catching a lot of these little burrowed units out in the field, and Catz is getting a multitude of information out of them. It looks like the observer actually working its way back. But this, that's not something you want to have Catz know exactly when that's going up on approach. It looks like Catz is probably going to build up a sizable army of both Corruptors and Hydras to engage this. In the meantime, it looks like, Overlord just wandering up so he can say, oh yeah, maybe I spotted it legitimately.
Well, this is either like one of the smartest things RSVP has ever done, and that is expanding to the middle and just aggressively taking these bases, or this is the reason he's going to lose, because Catz, moving in with a pinch attack, we do see a mixture of his units, Zerglings, Roaches, Hydras, and Corruptors. He has forgotten the left side, though. He's got to hit before these cannons get in, and he's got to get those Corruptors on those Colossus. Moving in full arc, the force fields are only on one side, the left side is exposed. Corruptors doing their damage, all the Colossus are down, save for one, just kind of lonesome in the back, and oh my god, there's ugly Zerg everywhere, crawling all over this base. RSVP overextended himself. It's going to be a race of resupplying. We do see that Catz has an armament of Zerglings up at the top, and the base does go down.
Oof. Yeah, that was a huge engagement for Catz. Beautifully crushing that gold expansion. He can just start flooding units out now just to absolutely death grip map control. Even though RSVP does have a lot of cannons across that third, it doesn't matter. He's locked in position. He's not really in a situation where he can continue to expand. Catz is going to be able to continue to supply that army. He's actually maxed at this stage. RSVP just around 140 supply, and oof, this, not looking good for him at all.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely like a good situation with that third base being taken aggressively like that, but then he got a little bit overeager, and we do see that Catz is actually going to circle around and shut down the minerals of that base. Very nice move, very underused, and all the Protoss can do is kind of hope to swing around with enough of an army and shut it down, but really looking at that, bunch of Stalkers, 2 Colossus, 1 Immortal, not looking good. We are going to make this the final confrontation, though, at least for now, and there's the GG. So